Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Today we will learn about Arabic verbs. We will begin with the past tense in Arabic, but before going particularly to the past tense of Arabic verb, I'll begin with a general some basic fundamental things to know about the verb in Arabic. There are basically two main verb tenses in Arabic. Unlike English, we have past tense, or in Urdu we have past tense, present tense, future tense. In Arabic we have basically two tenses, that is perfect tense, that corresponds usually to the English past tense or perfect tense. In Arabic we call it al-fi'al al-mazi. The perfect tense is called al-fi'al al-mazi, and the other form of tense in Arabic, that is imperfect tense, is called al-fi'al al-mudari, that we will study in the next class. First we will learn here the past tense. The past tense is called al-fi'al al-mazi, and imperfect tense, that is al-fi'al al-mudari, that corresponds usually to the English present or future tense, that is it denotes present as well as future tenses. So in Arabic we have, when we talk about past tense, we have generally more than 96% of verbs that are basically formed with three letters. These are called the roots. Roots with three radicals are called letters. Triliteral verb. Three radicals. Radicals here means the letters, the alphabet, the consonants. These are triliteral verbs. Verbs with three letters, three alphabets, three consonants. So these triliteral verbs are roots with three radicals. And the root of triliteral verb, for example, kataba, it's a verb. Kataba, kataba. To write is kaf, ta, and ba. Since these are three consonants, three letters, this is called triliteral verb. And in Arabic you have almost more than 95% of verbs that belong to this category of verbs or derived from these three letters. This is the form under which you will find the verb kataba and other forms of this verb in Arabic dictionary. Kataba. The triliteral verbs have three patterns of voweling. Before proceeding further, let me tell you, I hope you might have learned about it, but let me recall it. In Arabic, when we say vowels, these are vowel signs, that is fatha, kasra, or dhamma. Fatha, dhamma, or kasra, like for example in kataba, all the three letters, kataba, kaf has a fatha over it, ta has fatha, kataba. So this fatha is considered a vowel here in Arabic. This is the vowels are written in the form of signs, not in the form of letters. For example, in English you have alphabet and then a class of alphabet, a section of alphabet. Alphabets are divided into two categories. One is consonants and A, E, I, O, U. You have few alphabet that are considered as vowels. Whereas in Arabic, all these letters, all the alphabet, these are considered consonants. And so far as vowels are concerned, vowels are not written in the form of alphabets. These are written in the form of signs. The sign of fatha is a vowel. The sign of kasra is a vowel. Sign of dhamma is a vowel. Not the alphabets. All the alphabets, all the letters are considered consonants, right? So the triliteral verbs have three patterns of voweling. So vowels might be of three patterns. The first and the basic thing is that first letter, that is kaf zabar ka, and ba fatha zabar, that we call it in Urdu, for example, kaf zabar ka, ba zabar ba, ka and ba. In all the triliteral verbs, first and the last letter would have this particular sign, that is fatha sign, and the central letter, alphabet, the signs may vary from one verb to another. In the basic form, the first and the last consonants, radicals, are always voweled with fatha. In some English, Arabic to English dictionaries, the fatha is denoted by a small letter A, but the middle consonant radical may be voweled with any of the three short vowels. Like for example, you have kataba. Here C stands for consonant followed by a vowel, and that vowel is fatha, denoted by small a here. Then again we have a consonant followed by that has a fatha over it, again a consonant, triliteral verbs, consonant, fatha, consonant, fatha, consonant, fatha, kataba. That means he wrote. The next verb we have shariba. You see the first letter sha and the last letter ba has fatha over it, sha and ba. Whereas the middle letter, the second letter, the vowel signs, it may take any vowel sign, fatha, or like for example in kataba, or kasra, like for example in shariba. C stands for consonant followed by fatha and again a consonant, that is ra. But in this case it has the middle letter, the second letter of this verb shariba, it has kasra, shari, and then ba again. First and the third would remain same, sha and ba. The middle letter here has kasra sign. You have another word, shariba means he drank. Then you have kabura, 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 he grew up. Shariba means he drank. Shariba, shariba, he drank. Kabura, ka and ra again, first and third letters have fatha, but the middle letter has, in this case, a zamma, pesh, zamma over it. Kabura, he grew up. Kataba, shariba, or kabura. Most of the verbs follow in this first category, kataba, followed by this pattern, shariba, and then there are very little number of verbs that follow this third category, where you have a kasra, a dhamma, a pesh in the middle. A quick review of what we have learned just now. In Arabic we have basically two tenses, the past and the present or future. Present or future is denoted by al-fi'l al-mudari. The past or the perfect is denoted by al-fi'l al-mazi. Al-fi'l al-mazi is generally in the form of three letters verb, trilateral verb, as for example in kataba or qara'a, zahaba, fataha, jalasa. These are all verbs on the pattern of consonant and fatha, consonant, fatha, consonant, fatha. So these triliteral verbs form most of the verbs fall under this category. These triliteral verbs have three patterns of voweling. The first form is first and the last letter has a fatha always, and the middle consonant or the middle letter has generally a fatha or a kasra or a zamma. So this is a basic introduction about how al-fi'l al-mazi, or the past or the perfect tense verbs, are formed. The basic form, the basic shape of these verbs. Then this verb changes according to the gender and according to the number, right? Gender and number, like in as we have learnt in the previous lesson where we talked about the gender in Arabic. I said that Arabic is a gendered language, and what is meant by this gendered language is that this gender has an implication for all the association of words, be it adjectives, adverbs, or verbs. So for a male, if you have kataba, he wrote. For she wrote, you might have something different. And if you say they wrote, for male plural, that have a different form, whereas for plural feminine group the verb would take a different shape. So according to number and according to gender, these verbs take different forms that we will learn in next lesson inshallah. Thank you very much.